Coming up on Jamaica Magazine for this Friday, January 8, keeping Jamaica and Jamaicans safe, our year in review continues. We turn the spotlight on the Ministry of National Security, plus planning for when we get old, the importance of retirement planning. Thanks for joining us for this Friday edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Those and more, plus the news of the day as we kickstart the weekend together.
We want a productive Jamaica. We are not productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand.
Productivity, pathway to prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Good day, I'm Carrie Ann Smith, and this is your GIS News for Friday, January 8. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has praised the public-private partnership that resulted in Thursday's official opening of the Malaya Braco Village Resort in Trelawney. Mrs. Simpson Miller says the expansion is a demonstration of strong investor confidence in her administration's policies and programs.
This opening also represents the fusion of local and international investment capital to ensure adequate returns on investment as well as national economic development for Jamaica and our people.
The 225-room hotel, which was previously known as the Grand Lido Braco, is owned by the National Insurance Fund. It is being managed by the Malaya Hotel Group under a 15-year lease agreement with the government of Jamaica. Mrs. Simpson Miller praised the Malaya management for maintaining the Jamaican village setting and modeling its design of the Georgian architecture of the nearby historic town of Falmouth. $23.5 million was invested to carry out the expansion works. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has indicated that her administration will be expanding training to ensure more Jamaicans can tap into the growing tourism opportunities. Mrs. Simpson Miller points out that tourism generates more than $2 billion in earnings for Jamaica annually and 25% of all employment. She adds that over the past 4 years alone, approximately $64 billion have been invested in the tourism sector, creating a higher demand for skilled certified workers.
It is crucial that we train our people to take advantage of the unfolding opportunities. The partnership that has been forged with the Ministry of Education, Heart Trust NTA, and other tertiary institutions must continue in order to expand training and certification for the hospitality sector.
The Prime Minister was addressing Thursday's official opening of the Malaya Braco Village Resort in Trelawney. A 5-day training course on public procurement wrapped up at the University of the West Indies today as government continues to strengthen its public procurement system. The training was done under the CARIFORUM EU Public Procurement Capacity Building Program. It's a regional initiative aimed at strengthening Jamaica's public procurement capacity as a member state within CARIFORUM and simultaneously support the country's current trade and development partnership with the EU.
And anticipate that the training will enhance the human, legal, and institutional capacity to better allow Jamaica to honor existing commitments and attain the objectives of the Economic Partnership Agreement, EPA, with the European Union.
A select cohort of local procurement practitioners, public officials, and policymakers were targeted for the training. Government has lifted the ban on persons entering Jamaica from countries affected by Ebola with immediate effect. The decision, which was made recently by Cabinet, was disclosed in a press release from the National Security Ministry yesterday. Government had instituted the ban on persons who were residents of or traveling from Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone in October 2014. But yesterday's press release says the decision to lift that ban now is guided by recent indications from the World Health Organization, WHO, which has declared an end to the outbreak in those countries. Health management strategies in these countries have reportedly shifted from outbreak control towards surveillance and consolidating the gains made from controlling the spread of the virus. The Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency and the Ministry of Health will continue to monitor Jamaica's ports of entry to remain apprised of the situation on the ground and to safeguard the health of the country. Chief Justice Zayla Makala has announced a new measure to ease the backlog of cases within the courts. 5-year-old cases which have not been tried will be placed on a special list and set for mention on Wednesdays between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. 2 judges have been given special responsibilities for those matters. The Chief Justice made the announcement at yesterday's ceremonial opening of the Hillary session of the Home Circuit Court at the Supreme Court in downtown Kingston. She implored members of the justice sector to make the justice system better for those in it now, as well as for generations to come. There are 522 cases listed for trial during the Hillary term, which ends on March 18. And finally, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, has donated more than $200,000 worth of computer equipment to the new Kingston Police Post. The donation was made in late December of last year. It included a flat-screen computer monitor, keyboard and mouse, as well as a printer with photocopier, fax and scanner capabilities. The items are expected to assist the police in taking statements more effectively and in a timely manner. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Kerry-Ann Smith. Thanks for watching.
Lottery scamming kills. It is a clear and present danger to all communities and our society at large.
Up to August, 138 murders in Era 1 have been associated with lottery scamming.
I want to make a personal appeal to parents and other family members to ensure that they do not, by their silence, give tacit support to their children who are involved in criminal behavior.
As you just heard, combating the lottery scam is high on the priority list for the Ministry of National Security. It was a focus in 2015 and will continue to be emphasized this year. Let's recap the 2015 achievements of the ministry under the leadership of Minister Peter Bunting.
The National Security Minister and his team implemented a number of crime-fighting strategies to improve the efficiency of law enforcers in 2015. The overall aim was to reduce murders and other crimes.
There is much to do in 2015.
And so several units were merged or downsized so that more police officers could be on the streets fighting crime. For example, the Police Flying Squad and the Organized Crime Investigative Division were merged in January to create the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch. And with the mergers came more resources.
With this handover, Jamaica will have the largest maritime force in the Caribbean.
A police post was also opened in Fellowship Hall, St. Catherine in March, and in November, the Gregory Park Community Resource Center was opened. 244 new police officers were added to the JCF in August, and members of the military began wearing their new digital combat uniforms from as early as January 2015. It was also in 2015 that government announced that a $771,000 contract was issued to American firm Armor Express to provide 1,500 ballistic vests, 1,000 ballistic helmets, and 500 helmet shields. To complement the additional resources, the police moved to deepen the crime-fighting relationship with citizens by launching the Get the Guns campaign. A number of firearms and ammunition have been seized since the campaign began in September. And to eliminate lottery scamming, the Do the Math campaign was launched a month later.
Our aim is to create a social environment that rejects any assertion that scamming is a victimless crime.
Maintaining a secure and just society in 2015 also meant policy and legislative support from the National Security Ministry. A rule of law working group was established in November to create a national coalition against criminals. Later that month, a groundbreaking piece of legislation,
The Deoxyribonucleic Acid DNA Evidence Act 2015,
was passed in Parliament. Amendments were also passed for the Criminal Justice Administration Act and the Judicature Appellate Jurisdiction Act to improve the criminal justice system. The Maritime Drug Trafficking Suppression Amendment Act was also passed in the lower house in September, while both houses of Parliament passed the Evidence Amendment Bill in May. Also that month, the National Security Minister tabled a new administration policy for persons deprived of their liberty.
It is meant as a strong signal to drug dealers, would-be drug dealers, and would-be traffickers that there will be no free passage through our ports of entry.
That signing in May renewed a 3-year partnership between the governments of Jamaica and the United Kingdom to strengthen the fight against illicit drug trafficking. And in November, government signed an agreement with the United States to share criminal history information on Jamaicans being repatriated from that country.
We are in these prison walls, doing my paces, doing my time.
Work began on a 2-story building to house inmates at the Tamarind Farm Correctional Facility in St. Catherine following a contract signing in August.
This is very significant. It's in that it's the first in a very long time that we're seeing new capital investment in an adult correctional facility.
Government also announced plans to build a new maximum security facility within the next 3 to 5 years to ease overcrowding in correctional institutions. The new institution, to replace the Tower Street and St. Catherine Adult Correctional Centers, will cost about $10 billion. With that in mind, government indicated that it had signed a non-binding memorandum of understanding with the United Kingdom to explore the possibility of a prisoner transfer agreement. The UK said if Jamaica agreed to the proposal, it would give the country £25 million to help construct the prison and £5.5 million towards the rehabilitation of inmates.
There is no guarantee at this time that this administration will sign a prisoner transfer agreement with the UK. The government of Jamaica would only sign a prisoner transfer agreement after adequate public education and debate and the enactment of new legislation in the Jamaican Parliament.
The National Security Ministry also continued the Unite for Change campaign in 2015 by partnering with stakeholders to address the root causes of crime. The Stay Alert app for persons to report crimes and suspicious activities was also rolled out. And the third phase of the Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP, moved into high gear through additional internship programs for participants. The Ministry of National Security, working assiduously to tackle crime to ensure a safe and just Jamaica.
Life is all about making decisions, choosing from a number of options to do a particular thing, which may result in a specific outcome.
It can be difficult, but there are 4 things you can do to help make that decision.
Stop. Check out what's happening and remind yourself to think before acting.
Think. Make sure you're aware of the choices, all the advantages and disadvantages. Then think about the consequences.
Act. choose the best option and do something about it.
Review.
Finally, review what you have done and determine if it was good or bad. That way, you'll be in a better position to make the next decision, whether big or simple.
We're just 8 days into the new year and some of us are already becoming frustrated. Things aren't going according to plan, can I tell you? Don't throw in the towel just yet. It's never too late for a shower of rain. Instead, reframe, rethink, and try again. Planning for retirement should have been one such plan for the new year. We show you how. Imagine a life fully devoted to a profession. Toiling through the sweltering heat or hard at work in an office, racking up awards and earning a low, moderate or really generous salary along the way. But years later, when seniority dictates that a day-to-day job is no longer feasible, you are left bereft of funds.
One could find themselves in serious deficit.
Retirement becomes fiscally strained, and you are no longer able to maintain a quality standard of living. Before that happens, apply the every mickle make a muckle technique. Plan for your retirement before it's too late. Everyone needs some form of financial security when they retire. The planning process starts with the basic principle of financial planning, a budget. Look at your income and expenditure and make spending cuts where applicable. Once you've identified the amount of money to go towards your retirement, invest it in an approved pension scheme that will guarantee an adequate rate of return.
In terms of the accrual on the investment, and of course, something that will ensure that you have a guaranteed income at the point of retirement.
Now, if you work with a company that makes it mandatory for employees to make pension payments to an approved retirement scheme, 5% of your gross monthly salary will likely go towards your pension.
What that means is that the contribution is applied directly to the pension account before taxes are taken. That allows your contribution to be a more efficient contribution for the purposes of your retirement.
The money is not kept in the employer's account. Instead, it goes directly to a pension fund supervised by a licensed financial institution.
If it is, though, that you're planning to properly prepare, a 5% contribution is not likely to give you or generate the sort of income that you will need or sufficient enough to take care of those retirement needs, let's say 5 years, 10 years into the retirement.
So the idea is to gradually increase the amount you contribute over a period of time. Be aware, though, that you can only contribute as much as 20% of your gross monthly income. Employees can access their company's contribution to the pension plan after a specific number of years called the vesting period. If your employer doesn't have a set pension fund, or if you're a self-employed person, you can still visit a financial institution and join an approved pension fund, and you will still get the tax-free benefit. This individual retirement account, however, is only available to persons who are not already a part of an approved pension scheme. Only one pension or retirement fund is permitted under the law. Other forms of investments, stocks, mutual funds, bonds, fixed deposit accounts, etc., can also be used to shore up your retirement reserves. Whichever route you choose, a financial advisor is recommended.
An advisor, for example, can look at your arrangement and say, listen, based on your current level of contributions and based on where you're projected to be, assuming your retirement occurs in 10 or 15 years, we may need to ask you to increase your premiums to make sure there's no shortfall.
Now, some people believe they are too young to start planning for the period when they will not be able to work. That mindset needs to change. Consider this scenario. There are two individuals, both investing $10,000 each monthly, but one started to make the contribution at age 30 and the other started at age 40.
The individual that starts at age 30, at his point of retirement, can expect a projected value on his retirement account of about 46 million. For somebody who started 10 years later, So instead of 30, now 40, their accumulated value is 13 million.
That's a $33 million difference. When it comes to retirement, it costs to wait.
By way of an earlier start, that individual can expect to have a higher percentage of its final income replaced at the point of retirement.
The government has also taken steps to ensure that persons have some form of income when they retire. This is being manifested through the National Insurance Scheme (NIS), a 2.5% mandatory contribution by both the employer and employee. 2% of the contribution goes towards the NIS and the remainder to the National Health Fund (NHF). There are several benefits to the NIS. A funeral grant, widow's benefit, and orphan's benefit are among them. But when it comes to monthly pension payments, the NIS is deemed the great equalizer.
It is based on the principle of work, and it says that all work is work, regardless of how much you are paid for it. So those persons who contribute more to the scheme will earn more from the scheme. But in general, a person who contributes at a low level gets the same flat rate benefit as a person who contributes at a higher level.
So if you are not making your NIS payments, a good time to start is now. You can register with any NIS office in your area. And even if you contribute to the NIS, you're always advised to look at other forms of retirement benefits. Real estate is a good investment.
Take the business of retirement very seriously. So start early is my recommendation. Make sure that once you've started that you stick to it.
The first week of school has just ended. Well, for some students, I know a few who will not begin the new school term until next Monday. Nonetheless, we will be taking a trip down memory lane and remind our girls that if they continue to be good, they can become successful ladies. A little fuzzy? Watch this.
I am a beautiful young lady that believes in myself and can do anything that I want.
I am kind-hearted, I am very determined, and I believe in myself.
I am beautiful, intelligent, talented, and words cannot bring me down.
They spoke those words of affirmation at the first staging of their school's Girls' Day. Over 300 girls from the inner city-based school celebrated their femininity as they received the powerful message of self-love from successful women and men. The goal was simple: to turn these good girls into beautiful, successful ladies.
Because we realize that many of these young ladies have no role models. We find that in the communities they have to be living two different lives. You come to school, you're a model student, but when you go back home, you have to blend in with your community. So we're trying to help them to find the balance between being a student, a potential youth and world leader, and exactly how you go about it.
I gotta believe in me, 'cause if I have self-esteem.
The first and most important thing is to exercise self-respect. You must learn to respect yourself.
Turn me away from the rise.
A successful woman is a lady who is hardworking, persistent, diligent, beautiful both in and out, and don't give up no matter the circumstances. Even though she had struggles, she managed to overcome it and become a successful woman. A woman who is goal-oriented. A perfect example of a successful woman is the Prime Minister of Jamaica.
I am beautiful, no matter what they say.
She was told that she was worthless.
Unfortunately, all too often we hear girls being told this: you're nobody. Perhaps you're watching and you were told you weren't special, but you're not alone. In fact, One woman in the corporate world shared how she did not let the negative words spoken to her affect the woman she could and would become.
When I was a child growing up, I had two sisters, and for some reason they looked a little different from me. Both of them had what we call long hair, and they were lighter complexion, and some people thought they were prettier than me. Now, as a child, I remember my mother introducing all three of us, and when she got to me, she would say, "Oh, and this is the ugly one." Now, if I had sat down and internalized that, internalize what that means, if me did sit down and believe that the ugly one, that I would have been thinking to myself all along that I'm ugly and so on. But guess what? Thank God, my mother also recognized that I was bright. So she would also say, she's the bright one. Ladies, I'm going to ask you to stop saying negative things to yourself. Right here and now.
I think it is very important because the Bible said that life and death is in the power of the tongue, and we should speak positive things over our life. I think it's time for young ladies to start acting like ladies and believe in themselves and have the strength and the courage to overcome each and every situation that they're going through, because we are more than conquerors.
Wow, some real powerful words there from Kalicia, who, as we can hear, was certainly impacted by that session. Now, another major issue that was tackled was sexual relations. As young girls, you should certainly know where you stand on this issue.
17, now she just come out of school. She never listen when her mama set the rule.
Everybody knows that the little young girl, them have pure little boyfriend on the place. Wrong, alright? No, seriously. You have different levels of friendship and different levels of relationship. It's quite natural and quite normal to have the support of a friend who is from the opposite sex. Wrong, alright? But I'm telling you, say, at this level, you're not supposed to be having sexual intercourse with boys. You're supposed to be dealing with the improvement of yourself and moving up academically. Wrong, alright?
We are the girls of Dunoon Park Technical High School. Diligence with persistence for excellence. Keep watching Zone Zone.
They're excited, aren't they? But what have they learned so far?
You must really listen to what others says about you. You must be yourself.
To believe in yourself, no matter what other people say things about you, you must not give up. Try pushing harder and don't let them degrade you.
This message to persevere was shared by reggae singer Ikea, who had the girls hooked on her melody and message.
The greatest love of all is? The greatest love of all is?
Loving yourself.
Okay. And where are my strong, independent young ladies?
So from your mind conceive, then you shall achieve it. No make them stop you with them bad energy. Yeah, them no love only, but them a bring them no want for people. Now make me fly away, fly like a
From Dunoon Girls Day, keep believing, keep achieving, and keep being successful.
No one can hold me down. Just watch me win this crown.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them. A message from the Ministry of Health, sponsored by the NHF.
That's how we close today's show. Thanks so much for making us a part of your Friday evening journey. Do continue to send your feedback on our social media platforms. You may also browse our website, jis.gov.jm, and watch this and other shows on our YouTube channel. I'm Andrea Chisholm, and this has been Jamaica Magazine. Have a great evening.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.